Acharya Pavanosmakam, Acharyani cha Bharati, Devo Narayana Shishaha, Devi Mangala Devata. My humble namaskarams to Sri Satyatma Tirtha Swamiji of Srimad Uttaradi Mutt and Sri Vedavardhana Tirtha Swamiji of Shirur Mutt. I think this is a little outlandish because we are speaking in English, but it was a request by the organizers that we should have at least one lecture in English. And I think it is also driven by the fact that there are a lot of people from Mumbai who probably will understand English a little better. Also, the topic that I would like to speak a little bit about is how do you actually balance our spiritual and professional lives? I think this is probably the biggest question in everybody who is now pursuing a Laukika way of life. That means we are essentially born in the Madhva community, but we are working in some other place. And that brings it with it its own challenges and opportunities. So I would like to speak a little bit about this for about 15 minutes. So I think when I look at the topic of how do you balance spirituality and professional life, we see two extremes. There are people who are saying that, look, I cannot pursue a professional life, so I will be in the spiritual world. Or people who say, look, I cannot manage a spiritual world. I know everything, but I can't do it, so I have given it up. So we see two extremes. But the reality is that in today's world, all of us will have to learn how to balance both these topics. The previous generation, the generation which is about 50, 60 years old, probably did not look at that as an opportunity because the employment opportunities were very less. So to get a job itself was a very big thing. So when you get a job, don't do anything else, forget about everything else and just work on your job. That was the focus. But now, when you look at the world the way it is, you may be working in an IT company, you may be working in any organization. The challenge that you face is that you have to pursue both of them. And today we are in a very competitive environment. There was a time when people would go to the office at 9 o'clock in the morning and come back at 5 o'clock. And after 5, there was something called evening. Right? So today that concept of morning, evening, afternoon, night is gone. Right? Nobody is at home. Does anybody come back from office at 5 o'clock? Nobody comes home. So they all come back in a city like Bombay, probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then the whole evening starts with the regret. Saying, oh my God, I've already crossed the Sandhya Vandana time. So what do? I give it up. I don't do Sandhya Vandana at all. Because if I have to do it, I will do it perfectly, or otherwise I will not do it at all. Which is, I think, a wrong approach. Because we will learn how to balance these things in its place. So before we get into the topic of that, about how do you actually pursue a spiritual way of life, what does Shastra actually give us? Let us look at two examples from my own life, which happened rather recently. One of them, incidentally, both have to do with Mahabharata Tatpar Nirnaya. I was studying my engineering, so I got admission in RV College, Bangalore. The same day I got admission into engineering, Srimad Mahabharata Tatpar Nirnaya Pravachana by Sri Prabhanjanacharya was starting on the same day near a place very close to my house. So 4 years I did my engineering course, and 4 years I could listen to Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya. So it was, I don't know how to say it, I think that was the turning point in my life. First Parva was a new thing for me, but after that I think I became so interested and so virtually you can say addicted to Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya that became my goal to study that in greater detail. So this Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, two incidents. I will not go into the event, I think all of us know it very well. There is an incident that is happening where Hanuman is, along with the other Vanaras, are waiting and they have lost their way because They are now waiting to go and find out where Sita is. And there are no clues. So they all decide that why should we pursue this goal at all? Right? So let's not pursue this goal. Let us all, anyway, there are enough fruits and drinks, everything, so we can just stay here. Why try to search goddess Sita when we have no clue? But then Hanuman, wakes them up and says, no, we have come here for a certain purpose. And we have to serve that purpose. So it is Rama Agnya. So it is much more, and it is Rama Agnya, and it is Sugriva Agnya. That word Sugriva Agnya is used even today in newspapers. When the government releases a very strict order, it says Sugriva Agnya, because Sugriva had said that either you find out where goddess Sita is or I am going to kill you. It is not a small punishment. It's not 250 rupees fine. Right? He's going to kill you. So they all get, but they say, okay, all that will happen only when we go back. Let us not go back, let us stay here. So Yavaglu, what we see in our life is that it is always easy to take nice decisions, but we should make the right decisions. Nice decisions in the parliament. Lot of bills get passed. There is one bill which gets passed every time unopposed. Nobody opposes it. Which is that bill? The increase of salaries of MPs and MLAs. Nobody opposes it, right? Because it is for everybody's good. Who will oppose it? Everybody there is a beneficiary, so they will not oppose it. But how do you do the right thing is what Hanuman has taught us. So this story was there in my mind. So one day it happened, we were sitting in the Prime Minister's office. Next day the Prime Minister was supposed to come, and we were supposed to present to him one report about all the digital initiatives that the government should take. So whatever you are seeing as Digi Yatra, you would have seen some of it. You would have seen this thing called Udan, you have seen Umang. All these are digital initiatives of the government. So that is being handled by this Digital Innovation Council that Acharya just mentioned. So that council, we were all sitting and we were all discussing throughout the day. Next day the Prime Minister was supposed to come. The people who are organizing, they said, look, the Prime Minister is going to come at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you have time, so please prepare the report. However, because he is the Prime Minister, sometimes his schedule may change. So why don't you try and finish it tonight? He said it, but then all the other 3 people who are there in the ministry along with me are very, very senior people. Uday Kotak from Kotak Bank, Dr. Deepak Phatak from IIT Powai, and there was a senior secretary in finance. So all of them are much older than me, much senior than me. They all said, look, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. We are all very tired. Let's go and rest. Tomorrow morning we will come and do this. I thought for a minute that is it prudent that we are supposed to present to the Prime Minister and we don't do this work. So I said, look, I think I am okay. I will work on it for next half an hour and finish the report in a PPT form. So I sat down, they all left, I finished it, and then I said, okay, now I can sleep peacefully. Next day what happened was shocking. We all reached the place at 8:30 in the morning as we were told, and suddenly at 9 o'clock, they came and announced that the Prime Minister is coming at 9 itself. And they said, I hope the report is ready. And immediately all of them looked at me and said, what did you do? I said, no, don't worry, I have given the report. We have another half an hour. And let's quickly rehearse it so that one of you can present it. They said, no, you have made the presentation, so you should present it. I said, see, I've never presented to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister has an elephant's memory. He never forgets anything. So what we discussed 4 years back, he remembers. Without writing on a paper, I don't know how somebody can remember. He does it. So he came and he said, we get 12 minutes to present to him. Exactly 12 minutes. We said yes, and I presented to him. And the whole proposal, he just approved on the spot, which is about 5,000 crores. Now, I will attribute this learning to none other than Shriman Mahabharata Tatpar Nirnaya itself. Because if Madhvacharya had not given us this beautiful insight, that is where we say Tatparya Nirnaya, that means he is giving us insight. There's one more incident which happens, I think all of us know. Just before, the next day, Rama is going to be crowned as the king. The previous night, we all know what happened. Early in the morning, he wakes up and he goes to the place where all these people are seated. And everybody is extremely upset because of what Kaikeyi has done. We know the story, so we will not go into that. What does Rama say at that time? Rama says something which nobody else other than him can say. That is why he is Purushottama. He says, have I done something wrong? What is our instinct? We go out and say something is wrong. What do we say? Yaar madidru idanna? Yaar madiddu? That means you are excluding yourself. Somehow you feel you have not contributed to anything negative in this world. Whereas Rama asks, he is Purushottama, but he says, have I done something wrong? He knows he is Nirdushta, but the point is, by taking accountability for everything, we are responsible. We cannot be irresponsible. So it turned out to be very nice. So I learned this and I felt it was a great thing. So once in my company where I was working, I was a marketing head, and Economic Times had asked me a question on mail saying that, is it true that 2 of your senior people have quit the company? So they wanted to make it a sensational story. So I went to the management. I said, look, I have got this query. What should I do? Everybody said, you should say no, they are not quitting. Nobody has quit. It's just a rumor. I don't know where you got it from. And one of the senior managers said, you should vehemently deny. We vehemently deny that this person has quit the. I said, no, that is. Then I wrote the answer. But I felt that if I add the word vehemently, it will be adding unnecessary detail. And because I have studied the shastras, the value of every word is important. Vehemently means that we are trying to hide something. Why vehemently deny? I vehemently say this is a phone. It's not needed. It's a phone. Everybody knows it. So why should I vehemently say it? So I didn't say it, and we released the statement. Next day in the morning, Economic Times, headline was, 2 people have quit this company. And they had quoted that the spokesperson from this company has denied it, and they put my statement. Everybody, one of the managers who had said I should say vehemently, said, you have done something wrong. Why did you say vehemently? I said, look, I have used my judgment. Then the whole committee was called. And there I said, look, I can go into this meeting saying, I am there to fight this. I will defend myself. That was one way to do it. The other way to do it is what Lord Rama has taught us. Go into that meeting and say, if I have done something wrong, I apologize for this. And I'm willing to pay any price for this. So I went into that meeting and told everybody, this is the query we got. This is the answer that we gave. This was the suggestion this person had given. I did not follow it because of this reason. Have I done something wrong? All of them unequivocally said, nothing is wrong. What you have done is absolutely right. So again, when you look at take accountability for your work, ಈ ಲೆಸನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ, ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. One thing Acharya missed mentioning, I am on the editorial board of a magazine called Harvard Business Review. Harvard Business Review is the #1 management magazine in the world. And we get lot of articles that are there. Not one of them mentions these things, which are very, very important. And I will end later with a few more things on this. So, when we study, yaru shastra ಓದ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ? So, the Adhyatma part we know. All of us have heard great scholars who have come on this stage and spoken about many things. That part we have understood, or at least some part of it we have understood. But to a Laukika like me, what benefit have I got from Shastra? Some of the benefits I have already told you. But when I am listening to the Patha, what happens is, for a few minutes, it takes me into another world. In the daily routine that we have, it's all about Laukika things. But for the time that I am studying the Shastra, I actually don't know where I am. Today I was sitting in an office and listening to Vishnu Tattva Nirnaya by my guru, Shrikantachar Bayari. For that 45 minutes, I promise, I didn't know where I was. It takes me to a different world. Now, why is this important? Is that I think I'm able to do my work better. Because for that time, I am moving into a different world. It's a spiritual world. That world is very different from the world that is there. So immediately after the patha, I have to come back to this. There is a break for 1 hour, I have to do some other work. Immediately after that is the Kathopanishad Bhashya Patha by Srinidhi Acharya Pyati, which is also very good, which takes me into another world. For a minute you are in front of Yamadharmaraya himself. So this kind of a thing, first thing, you will get to move into a different world. Second thing is, when you study granthas like Pramana Paddhati, your ability to analyze things and put it in a logical structure is at a different level. I have been a student of science. I can say that. I can very, very comfortably say that the scientific attitude that I got because of Pramana Paddhati is much, much more than all the science I learnt. Because in many science classes, we all are taught that there is an examination, you have to mug it up, and you have to go and write. Everything is focused on marks. But in Pramana Paddhati, there are only two things. Either you have understood or you have not understood. So when I recite it the next day, my guru is able to tell me whether I have understood. If I have not understood, he will repeat the class. Right? So till I have understood, we can't go on to the next part. There have been some times when we have spent 3 days just studying 3 lines in Prapancha Mithyatmano Khandana. 3 days for 3 lines. Repeat. Till he was convinced he didn't go forward, nor did I want him to go forward. But that ability to go into the details of everything is a very big thing in a professional life. Whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, whether you are an engineer, you may be in any profession. The ability to go to things in detail. Second thing is, they say that the 5 people who are around you, nama sutta mutta iro 5 jana yaridare, with whom we interact a lot, have an immense influence on the way we think. Yaridare 5 people, they are all around us. Yar irbodu, namma maneyavar irbodu, kutumbadavar irbodu, it may be somebody in your workplace, it may be somebody in your college, it could be anywhere. But if you are surrounded by 5 very bright people, then your quality of your thinking will improve. I think all of us will agree with this. You don't need a research to prove it, but there is research also to prove it. Imagine when you are studying Shastra, who are the 5 people with whom you are spending time? Maybe limited time, but who are the 5 people who you are spending with? Shri Vedavyasa himself, Shriman Madhvacharya himself, Shri Jaitirthar himself, Shri Vyasaraja himself, Shri Vadiraja himself, Raghuttama himself, and Raghavendra Swami himself. If these are your 5 people, don't you think your ability to think will improve far better than what you can imagine? So that is the other thing. So they have a huge influence. And finally, I would like to say what you get is that ability to articulate in a clear way, communicate in a very clear way, which is, whenever you look at attention to detail, if you want to learn attention to detail, please study Srimad Jaitirtha's work. Nobody can be as detailed and as analytical as Srimad Jaitirtha. It is proven beyond doubt. If you want to build that human connection in Shastras, whatever you say, if you want to build a human connection, you should study Sri Vadaraja Tirtha's work. Because for everything he gives you a very nice way of communicating and connecting to a human emotion. If you want how to simplify and abstract, Sri Raghavendra Swami's work will be very, very good ways of learning, because I think he has got that ability to amplify as well as simplify, both at the same time. And if you want to appeal to emotions, I think you should study Sripada Raja's work, because whatever he says goes into your heart like an arrow. Right? So these are our people. And last but not the least, I think we've forgotten someone very, very important. If you want to learn how to present something in a pithy manner, in a crisp manner, it is none other than Sriman Madhvacharya himself. Because I think all of us know, we use bullet points in PowerPoint. I think the first person who made bullet points, the way to teach Shastra, is Srimad Madhvacharya himself. Nobody can bullet point him as simply, as well, and as comprehensively as he can do. So, bullet point al helidaga, you may miss out on so many things, but Madhvacharya ensures that he covers all the points. Now, I've got limited time, so I will not, I've got another 3 minutes, I'll conclude. What I wanted to take was, now we have understood some of the benefits of Shastras. I'm sure all of you would have your own experiences. But why don't the youth of today, why don't the people of today go to that path? Is because we say we don't have time. We don't have time. Illa namge. Shastra odak interest ide, time illa. Illa, time madle beku. We have to make time. Nobody has time. You have to make time. For things which are important, we make time. How much time do we spend on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? Has, on an average, an urban user in India uses about 4.5 to 5 hours media. Can anyone raise their hand and say, my life changed after seeing something on social media? Never. It's not possible. So if you want to gain 5 hours a day, you know where it is. Stop you overusing social media, for heaven's sake. Very, very important. That time, if you use it for this, it's great. Second thing, use technology. Ivattina divasadalli, Shastra odavaga mondlittu. You have to be in a big city. For example, you have to be in Bombay or you have to be in Bangalore. If you're not in Bangalore, you will not have access. That is not true. You can get Patha lessons done online. I know ideally our Gurumukhena kutkondu odade, it is ideal. But if that is not possible, if you are able to meet a Guruji who is prepared to teach you online, that is the next best thing. And let us use technology. Today, any book you want it reaches you online by ordering it on a place, and you can start Patha. So don't wait for that ideal situation. That ideal situation never come in your life. So start with these books. Third thing I would say, start early. Don't delay this, because it's a very important decision for our life. As soon as I retire, I will start. Imagine somebody at 60, it's better than not doing anything else or doing something else. But in my own experiences, it becomes very difficult to start a spiritual journey when you are 60, because your mind is conditioned to something else. So at least when you get the first opportunity, go for starting the Madhva Shastra. Anything that you study is also Madhva Shastra. Everybody may not be able to understand Anuvyakhyana and Shrimad Nyaya Sudha. Yes, if there are people who do that, it's great. But if that is not the case, Harikatamritsara is also Madhva Shastra. Devarnama also is Madhva Shastra. Dvadasha Stotra is also Madhva Shastra. One line of any shloka is also Madhva Shastra. So whatever we learn is taking one small step. And lastly, what I would say is that when you are starting on the Madhva Shastra studies, form a community around you who are like you, who can support each other. And the Sama Manaskar yaridare, our jate, you form a group so that you may all be facing the same challenges that are there. And lastly, when you have studied Madhva Shastra, let it make us knowledgeable. Let it not bring ego into us. ನಾವು ಸರ್ವಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಈಗೋ ಬೇಡ. ಇದೆರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದು ಥಿನ್ ಲೈನ್ ಇದೆ, ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಬಿ ಹಂಬಲ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಹೂ ಬೆಟರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೀಚ್ ಅಸ್ humility than our own gurus. Madhvacharya has written all this and he says Naham Karta, Hari Karta. Then Jaitirthar says Nashabdau Gadaha, he does this, I don't know anything. And all our gurus are only expressing their humility. There is one study by Forbes publication, which is a noted business publication. And it has analyzed why only Indians today are heading all the IT companies in the world. So you look at IBM, you look at Google, you look at Microsoft, you look at Adobe, you look at IBM. All top companies are headed by Indians. To be able to accept failure, you need a spiritual mind. A non-spiritual mind cannot absorb failures. Because inherently Indians are humble. That is why they have been chosen to head these companies. This is Forbes saying, it's not we saying. So therefore, we may grow, we may learn a lot, but let's have that humility to ensure and also support somebody. Somebody who is studying the shastras, has to be, someone who is humble. Lastly, I would like to say, everybody who is studying shastra has to be happy in life, right? There is no point in feeling unhappy about anything. Why should we be happy? Because this is Ananda Tirtha Shastras. So if you study Ananda Tirtha Shastra, you will get only Ananda, nothing else. So we should be happy. We should spread that happiness and positivity wherever we go. And that, I think, is the most important thing a leader can do. With these words, I would like to conclude this lecture. Thanks to everyone who gave me the opportunity. Pujya Vidya Simhacharya and Swami Acharya also, Vishwapragna Acharya, and last but not the least, Sri Satyatma Tirtha Swamiji, who has always inspired me since a very young age. He has ensured that my Shastra studies go on, always encouraging. He was in Pune for the Chaturmasa, and that is when my Shastra study actually got accelerated during that period. And Sri Vedavardhana Tirtha, his name itself is Vedavardhana. I am sure in the years to come, Veda will definitely grow under his leadership. And Lord Krishna has clearly shown his bias about which matha is closest to him. It is the Shirur Mat. So if you, in Udupi, Krishna is always looking at Shirur Mat. It's closest to his heart. So I'm sure under his leadership, we'll see a lot of things. I have to say this before going, which is, I would like to thank Swamiji for the excellent work that organizations like Dvaita Vedanta Foundation and all the other allied publications are doing. Because of late, the number of publications coming, reprints coming have really gone up. And for people like me, it has become much easier to access those publications. Special thanks to Swamiji to have made that possible for all of us. Thank you and namaskar.
ಸುಂದರ ಮದಕ್ಷೀರ ಅವರು ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಪಿ ಎಮ್ ಒಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವಂತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಮಹತ್ವಪೂರ್ಣವಾದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಯಂಗ್ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ನಿಗೆ ಅವಶ್ಯಕವಾದದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಬಹಳ ಅವಶ್ಯಕವಾದದ್ದನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಉಪಲಬ್ಧಿಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೇ ಒಂದು 15-20 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬೇಕು. ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಣ್ಣ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಉಪಲಬ್ಧಿಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡೆದಂತಹವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಬಿಸಿ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಪಾಠ ಪ್ರವಚನಾಸಕ್ತರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಧರ್ಮಕರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಊರು ಓಡಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಸಂಧ್ಯಾವಂದನ ತಪ್ಪಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇವರು ಒಂದು ಯೂತಿಗೆ, ಹೊರಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೂ ಕೂಡ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂತಹವರು ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀಪಾದಂಗಳವರ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರವಚನವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನೇಕ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಶ್ರೀಯುತ ಸುಂದರ ಮದಕ್ಷೀರ ಅವರು ಬಂದು ಪರಮಪೂಜ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀಪಾದಂಗಳವರಿಂದ ಫಲಮಂತ್ರಾಕ್ಷತೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ವಿಜ್ಞಾಪನೆ.
ಸುಂದರ ಮದಕ್ಷೀರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಕರತಾಡನೆಯಿಂದ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪುರಸ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸೋಣ.